on, Mommy, stop laughing. We're doing a Brodown.
So for a bit of a change of pace, we're going to check out more members of the Daily Wire. Recently, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens started a little back and forth, and I say this loosely. I really believe Ben kind of started this whole fiasco, but what can you do? Daily Wire.
Full of drama.
Yeah, everywhere you go, there's got to be drama. But we are talking tonight about Brett Cooper. She's going to be starring in the Snow White adaptation that the Daily Wire is doing. I find that interesting because every time I look at her, she looks like a female Ben Shapiro. At one point, I swear that was his little sister. I was like, Ben hired his little sister.
Yeah, without knowing any better, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with her prior to the Daily Wire. From what I understand, she had an audience already built in, which is why the Daily Wire probably absorbed her in. She said the NFL is getting too soft, and when women speak of NFL, my ears perk up. I'm always like, You're going to tell us about the NFL?
Oh, Lord. But
I do believe the NFL is getting too soft, and it's been going on for
years.
Decades.
Yeah.
I've watched it. I mean, from back when I was a kid, and you could clothesline somebody, and roughing the passer was like
non-existent.
What are you talking about? Sack. Personal foul calls are ridiculous. I think personal foul was created for Vegas.
Very passionate about football here.
Yeah, don't get me going too far on this. We're going to see what Brett thinks about it. Is the NFL too soft? Let's do this.
Section. I'm Brett Cooper. I feel like every day we notice that the mindset of being soft and, not hurting anybody else's feelings, not offending anybody, gets pushed further into every aspect of our society, as we've seen it happen in education and media and Hollywood. But in the last decade, it has also started to infiltrate the sports that we watch on TV. Like if there was one place that should not be affected by this type of thinking, it's grown men playing professional football. However, that seems to be where it's becoming most dominant. So much so that arguably the most famous sports organization has been renamed the No Fun League. That's right, guys. Sports Brett is back today. We are talking
that was
about
because
the
they
No
wouldn't
Fun
allow
League. But before we get into it,
celebrations
make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section
Girl,
or
go
a vlog
back.
episode. Sports! All right, so I've heard my friends and people online talking about the NFL getting softer for a while now. I am not a football connoisseur. My fiance watches Red Zone every Sunday. I am involved, but I don't partake. But I've heard people talking about it. But then I saw this tweet from Matt Walsh from over the weekend, and it made me start thinking about this for an episode. Ravens fullback Patrick Rickard was fined $21,000 for unnecessary roughness on this second quarter play versus Arizona. This is my first time hearing about a fullback. I don't even know where is the fullback? Where does he stand? There's nothing out of the ordinary here. This looks like a normal football game. But this is unnecessary roughness. So anyway, Matt said they're fining players simply for blocking and tackling now. The NFL has gone out of its way to promote and hire women to leadership roles, and now the league has become ridiculously soft and feminine, not a shocking result. Now, obviously, we know about the NFL's politics. We saw all of that happen during 2020, but this is a new thing. And I mean, did they learn nothing from Bud Light?
Impressive carrying skills, right?
No, we're not doing this again.
I'm not saying that women can't and shouldn't be in traditionally male-dominated spaces, but they shouldn't go in and try to fundamentally change how that space operates and what is acceptable.
This girl.
That is a recipe for disaster and totally disconnected from their audience. I don't know much about football. I'm getting better, though. But as I said, I did not see anything out of the ordinary in that clip. And it seems like that's how everybody felt in the replies, so I feel very good about myself and my observations. One person said, after watching the video 5 times, I can't spot what's wrong with it. Is it because I'm a man? Somebody else said, why don't they just start playing flag football instead? But isn't that how Blaine Crane from Crane & Co. actually ended up screwing up his leg by playing flag football?
Took one step off the line. I felt that in the back of my ankle.
That's that karma.
Yeah. Popped into my
He said that's that karma.
That happened to the Patriots running back years ago.
As I'm flying to the
playing
hospital.
volleyball.
And I guess to try and null the pain a little bit, he's like almost singing, but but in like a Native American way.
Maybe that's where you want to go if you want to play real football these days, guys. Another person said, it seems like the goal is to feminize men since men are the defenders of the family, our country's freedom, and more. The socialized agenda movements are obvious, and we will look back at this era and see how stupid we were. They're basically cutting men off of their knees and telling them that the hobbies that they love are too masculine, too dangerous, and too toxic. No, you can't block, you can't defend. No, you're going to be fine. That's too rough for football. What message is that sending? I actually did an episode where I talked about that, and I got reamed in the comments because the way that I talked about the issue was by talking crap about pickleball. Seeing this filled me with the most indescribable rage. I was just so upset about this. I was like, why are all these men out here playing pickleball? Maybe I should have been a bit nicer to the pickleball players because it is a fun social activity.
I don't know what pickleball is.
This is the point that I was making.
It's like
they
tennis,
are
but
hell-bent on cooking the things that men love.
like
and soon, the only
meshed
option will
together.
be pickleball. Because who
Little
wants
tiny
to watch
court
football
and
when
4
they're all
men that
being
are
fined
just
for unnecessary
I
roughness?
don't know.
Hey, I'm just here, so
Just play tennis,
They
guys.
started with guns, and now they've gotten football. Speaking of guns, if you own a firearm, then you need to check out Stopbox USA. They just introduced
she's
the
Daily Wire.
Stopbox Pro,
Daily Wire.
and this
Gotta
safe
have
is
'em.
the most reliable, secure place for your firearm. The Stopbox
My
Pro
dog
is
was
their
so
largest,
depressed
strongest,
and
and most
upset.
versatile option. It's crafted from
Then we
durable
decided
glass
to
reinforced
buy him rough
polycarbonate
greens.
ABS, and
I
it's not
miss
just
Matt
tough,
Walsh's
it's
rough
smart.
green
Forget fumbling
stats.
with keys or electronic
His code is
especially in
shinier.
high-stress situations.
He's
The
happier.
Stopbox Pro's patented hand
He's on
gesture
dating
code lock
sites now.
allows quick, intuitive
His life
access
has
without
changed,
batteries
all
or
thanks to
electronics.
rough
They
greens.
understand the critical balance
Thanks,
between
rough
security
greens.
and accessibility. And that's also why the Stopbox Pro is designed to be low profile and portable. Whether at
www.roughgreens.com/Walsh
home or traveling,
for
your
my
firearm
20% off
remains
coupon.
concealed, secure, yet readily available. The Stopbox
For my
Pro has an
rough
expanded
greens.
range of 81 combination possibilities,
Because
making
my
it more
dog
customizable than ever.
is a
Plus,
better
an
dog
enhanced surface
because
texture
of
for a
it.
better grip and the improved locking mechanism is
And
a
he's
breeze
so
to
happy
operate.
about
So
it.
do not compromise on safety
And make
and
sure your
accessibility
dog
and
has
check out
ExpressVPN.
Stopbox today. Visit stopboxusa.com
That way
and use
no one
code
will know
Brett
where
for
your dog is
10% off your
located
order.
at any
Again, that
given
is
time.
stopboxusa.com.
Protect your
Use
dog's
promo code
anonymity.
Brett for 10% off your
ExpressVPN.
order. Back to football. The situation that Matt was talking about is not some isolated one-time thing. This happens over and over again. People complain about it every time. Here's another one. Donata Foreman fined $48K for this. NFL is stealing money from running backs this year. And then somebody quote tweeted that and said, worst part, the NFL just does flat rates on these fines. A lot of these players make 6 figures a year and have to pay the $48K in comparison to a top-tier player making $20 million a year. These are all dumb penalties, but at least be percentages. So it seems like they're just trying to make an example of these players and scare them into, oh, not touching and not doing anything that's too dangerous.
You don't make enough money to afford it.
Of the hair or face.
Of course.
Somebody commented and said, I don't see what he got fined for, not even kidding. Another person said, NFL getting soft. Another person said, we have to curb the violence in the NFL because Taylor Swift fans don't like it. Hey now!
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on us.
Let's keep Taylor Swift out of it. You have Taylor Swift to thank for all the new NFL fans. But I mean, of course, we can talk about the feminization of football that was happening before she became the overnight Chiefs good luck
It's
charm.
been
And
much
yes, I
larger than
understand that there
Taylor.
have been new rules implemented over the years that are absolutely necessary in order to protect players against concussions and CTE. That makes sense. Most of these calls that blow up on Twitter are so far from being deemed dangerous, and some of them aren't even physical at all. They're just gestures, like this one. The NFL fined Dolphins wide receiver. Oh, I knew that one. Wide receiver. Fullback. I genuinely am still stuck. Anyway, the NFL fined Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill almost $11,000
I'm on her level.
for unsportsmanlike conduct, throwing up his signature peace sign towards Giants defenders on his 69-yard touchdown last week. Hill has been fined repeatedly for uniform violations this season.
stupid.
Now another fine on top of it. How is a peace sign unsportsmanlike conduct? Is Travis
taunting.
Kelce going to be fined for doing his Taylor Swift Archer move? Don't hate me. That's the only goal
If you
celebration
wanna
I can think of right now. This is when
penalize
somebody
them for that,
commented the
okay,
No Fun
fine.
League. Another
But why are
person
you
said the NFL
fining
will
them
fine
money?
Tyreek for throwing up a peace sign and then proceed to post the highlight all over
Right.
Instagram and Sports Center on Monday morning. And that part truly makes no sense.
Yeah.
He was fined $11,000 just for that peace sign. That was not dangerous. That was not unnecessary roughness. They're just trying to make an example out of him. You can't argue that this is saving anybody physically or protecting anybody. It's just people being soft and not wanting him to hurt the other player's feelings.
Yep.
You're it.
Taunting.
Now you are the one who is it.
Understood.
Here's
Taunting
another
penalties
example of
are
one of these dangerous
ridiculous.
gestures.
First and goal, Buffalo. Allen fakes it, pumps it, and runs it in.
Yep, he got a penalty for that.
Flag is down. Right where Allen got past it up.
Even he's just like,
Josh gave a little point back as he went into the end zone.
He's going to be reprimanded for pointing. For pointing back at the end zone. It's so dangerous, guys. Oh, I'm triggered. Let's watch it again.
Is the referee in charge tonight?
You cuck. I don't even know who you are. Oh, he pointed.
Point is the call.
Well, what if he was saying, pick him up?
Him to run and move
Get my
his
block.
arm in a pointing direction. It
You
is
don't know.
absurd. Somebody commented and said, how is pointing taunting? LOL, the NFL is so soft. I would understand it more if this was about players, getting up in another player's face or following him around the field, kind of like what Angel Reese did at LSU last year. I mean, that's, women's basketball, but still,
Nobody saw
she
it.
was even celebrated for that. Like literally running around and taunting another player. But these football players just pointing and throwing up the peace sign, that's not okay, and they have to be fined for that. All of this is harmless. These are just dudes being dudes. Like, if you hang out with any group of guys watching Red Zone on a Sunday, I guarantee you will see worse.
Yeah.
None of this is new or abnormal or dangerous. The final point, if all of these players' stories was not proof enough of how terrible and soft this has gotten, they are also fining the coaches over $100,000 for making their guys practice rougher than what the NFL deems appropriate, which feels so subjective. Just read this headline. Mike McCarthy fined over $100,000. Dallas Cowboys docked 2023 OTA for violating practice rules. For the second straight year, the
There's
Dallas
practice
Cowboys coach Mike
rules?
McCarthy
But it
has
was
been fined
against
for
Dallas,
violating rules
so I'll
regarding
allow
off-season
it.
practices,
No,
according to
I mean,
owner and
it's
general
still
manager. It
hypocritical.
genuinely does not make sense. Wouldn't you want them to practice more and practice rougher, practice more intensely in a safe, contained environment so that they're prepared for the unpredictability of a game and another team? Like, isn't that the purpose of practicing and pushing athletes? Now, while I was researching all of this, I did find a clip from Daily Wire's Crane & Co., who I was talking about earlier, and they talk about this whole issue, and I feel like they just summed it up perfectly. So I'm going to hand my sports bread hat over to the real sports people, and I'll let them talk for a second.
As someone who played quarterback and wore a different colored jersey in a lot of practices, you may think I'm in favor of no contact. But when I hear a phrase like football practice was too physical, I think, are y'all talking about soccer? I mean, how else are young men supposed to prepare for the physicality of an NFL season if they can't be physical in practice? This is why you hire the best coach possible, someone who knows how far to push young men in order to
Like a
get
drill
the most out
sergeant
of
to a
them
platoon.
and out of the team.
And to protect them in the long run. Because in an actual game, there is going to be contact. So they
You
should
gonna
be
get
prepared
lit
for it.
up.
They should be practicing in a rough manner, again,
better
in a
not make a
relatively
mistake.
safe, contained environment. That's not a crazy thought. That's what they've been doing for years until this point. That was David Cohn speaking, and I know that you guys like Sports Spread. I always see the comments whenever I do one of these episodes. They are the real sports commentators at the Daily Wire, so if you want anything beyond me reading comments and trying to understand what is going on in a football play and what a fullback is, you should go watch their show instead, because they will
Here's
actually
the Daily
give you more.
Wire.
But what I can tell
Segues
you
into
is
another
that none of
advertisement.
this should surprise you. They have been telling men that their sports and their hobbies are toxically masculine and too dangerous for ages now. They're fining players and coaches for the most ridiculous things in order to cuck this game, and now they're letting women onto football fields, which is only making the game softer and more hesitant, because what man actually wants to tackle and hit a woman? This is just another notch in the belt of them softening our society. Thank you for watching the comment section. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to
She
subscribe
looks like
to
a
this
little
channel,
bin.
turn on your
She does.
notifications, like this video, and of course, if you want
The
even more
eyebrows, I
content,
think.
you can follow
Yeah.
me on Instagram and
Eye
Twitter
shape.
at I'm Brett Cooper. See you next time.
You gonna do better than eyebrows?
But she's totally right.
Yeah, and she admitted she knew nothing. So I appreciate her saying that, because I hate it when people come out and act like they're armchair quarterbacks.
I know nothing of football either, so I'm kind of on. I still don't know what a fullback is,
Come again.
and I watch him every Sunday.
A fullback is just a running back. That
So
you have-
why is it called a fullback?
because of where his stance is in the offense, where he stands. Well, when she made the point about them allowing, women to play football, which is laughable.
That's
There's-
just insane.
There's no trans man, is that what it would be called? There's no one out there that could enter the NFL and survive an entire game getting hit more than 4 or 5 times. I mean, it's just, the brutality is still there, so it's not completely soft, but the penalties have gotten so ridiculous. That it's been going that way for a long time. When I grew up watching football, teams ran the ball. I mean, some of the greatest dynasties you'll ever hear about, the Steelers and the Cowboys and the 49ers. These are dynasties. And when I was growing up, they ran the ball. People know Joe Montana, but they forget Roger Craig. They know Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. John Franco and Terry Bradshaw. I mean, teams ran. If Aikman threw for 2,200 yards, he was like MVP. And then they changed the rules for wide receivers. You weren't allowed to touch a wide receiver. Once you got a certain distance from the line of scrimmage, if you put your hands on a wide receiver, if nothing more than to just kind of make sure he's in touching distance when you feel like the play might be coming your way, which most corners do. They're going to try to put their hand on you. Just, okay, if it's coming this way, I want to be at least this distance. And now if you do that, you'll get pass interference. It's stupid. If you put your hands in someone's face. Look, I get it. You don't know where their face is always going to be.
Yeah.
If I've got the ball and I see you, I may try to do this or I may do this. You don't know where I'm going. And when you put your hands out to do the tackle, if I lower my head and my hand hits your face mask, now I'm going to hit, that's going to be called a face mask. Even if I didn't grab it and pull it, because that's 15 yards. All I got to do is touch it, and that's 5 yards and a first down.
See, football should be like, that dude has the ball. Get him. Get him. Don't just get him.
Well, I mean, there's certain things that you shouldn't allow people to do. There's people out there that are 6'8", 340 pounds, and when they say height, they can literally grab their man and just body slam. And that's not cool. You can't really do that.
The blindside dude. What is his name? Michael. Yeah, that dude. He can do that.
You can. There's a lot of them can do that. They can't though, because that. I mean, just think about it. If you pull, and I know if you're not a football fan, you're not going to get this, so bear with me. When I say pull, that means that normally if you're an offensive lineman, you block straight ahead to the person. But when they pull an offensive lineman, rather than block, as soon as they say hut, he runs around the other way and adds one more person to that side of the line. And normally the pulling guard, when he comes around, he's looking for a linebacker or a defensive back. And if it just so happens the defense was lined up in a certain scheme where the defensive back was the one that was filling that gap, he could die.
God.
That offensive lineman could literally grab him, kick him in the air, and just crush him. But you can't do that. You can put your hands on him, push him back, and but there's rules for a reason. There's certain rules. But the touching of the wide receivers, the touching of the face mask, the touching of the quarterback. You touch the quarterback. I've watched teams, including my team, lose a game because it was Tom Brady, because they got the Brady rules.
Oh God, here we go.
But he was sacked by Grady Jarrett, and you can go look that up. It's
that happened last
Brady,
year,
Grady
the year
Jarrett.
before.
That sack put them at 4th down, and they had to punt. And that could have sealed the game for Atlanta. But instead, they called it roughing the passer. When he didn't land on him, he didn't try to harm him in any way. He tackled him.
Even the commentators are like, what is this?
Well,
like,
that gave
what is happening?
Tampa Bay a 1st down, and they ended up running the clock out and winning the game.
So many people were pissed off. And nobody sacked a quarterback for like 3 or 4 weeks after that.
They've gotten to where they protect the quarterback so much that it's kind of ruined the game. My opinion, call me a conspiracy theorist, but it's a made-up term by the FBI, who now found out, based on the release of the January 6th tape, are full of crap.
Yep.
Ever since gambling got involved in the NFL, the NFL's rules tightened up to where now you can call a penalty at any given time. And they always seem to come at those moments when they're most needed, and a lot of it has to do with how the spreads work in Vegas. And so, is the NFL rigged?
Yes.
You're rigging it, but you're not outwardly rigging it where people can 100% say that that's what's happening.
Well, I mean, and like you said, what was it, last week when you were talking about, I forgot which one now, it was like, had a headache and couldn't play. And Vegas,
Robinson.
Yeah, and like Vegas freaked out about it.
So that's another thing that's been going on. So Bijan Robinson had migraines, and he's never missed a game because of one, but it is known that the running back for the Atlanta Falcons, Bijan Robinson, does have migraines. He had a migraine on Saturday night, and the NFL expected Arthur Smith to report that as an injury, which he did not do.
It's not an injury.
When he asked Bijan, do you think you'll be okay? He said, I believe so, we're going to see. And started drinking a lot of water. And then that morning he came out with the team, did his little laps, did his stretches, and went to the coach and said, look, my head still kind of hurts right now, but I think I can beat it. I'm sure he probably took some aspirin. Nobody, I didn't tell you he took aspirin, but he's trying to get rid of a migraine, and we're both familiar with how those work.
Yes.
A full-blown migraine, he's not on that field.
No.
There's no chance.
I'm
I mean,
surprised he's on the sidelines.
No,
with a
I mean, it's a
migraine.
bad headache, but if it's a full-blown migraine, his eyes are watering, he can't look at lights, he needs cold. I mean, it's just typical migraine type stuff. He went in on several plays, he was just never really given the ball, and it was because he never really felt up to playing. I mean, he's about to take hits to his head from grown-ass men with helmets.
He's about to make the migraines overlovers.
So he did play, but he played sparingly, which pissed off all the fantasy football owners and pissed off Vegas because they know when Bijan does play, he makes things happen, and he's a big catalyst in the reason why the team can cover the spread.
Right.
So when she said the no fun league, she doesn't realize how spot on she was about that. It has been that for a while. And the no fun league was because of celebrations, which I don't mind celebrations. The one that bothers me is when they all run to the end zone. The whole defense, when like they intercept the ball, they'll run to the end zone camera and do the jail pose. If you're not familiar with the jail pose, you don't know anybody that's been in jail. I've known a few, and the pictures they take have this guy,
The one on the bottom.
this guy,
The guy on his
the guy leaning down on his knees, this guy. And they run to the end zone just so they can all celebrate something that they're paid millions of dollars to do. Just throw the ball to the ref like Barry Sanders and get back to the game. I don't need to watch you have that much fun. It's so fun to rub it to people. We're down 14.
I like celebrations.
I do too, but if you're down by 14 points, get your ass on the sidelines and goes, Coach, we got the ball now. What now?
Look what I did here.
Yeah, we're getting our asses kicked. Can we do something here? So that one bothers me. But I mean, if you want to go in the end zone, spike the ball, do like Tony Gonzalez and throw it through the upright, or if you've got a certain dance you like to do your little salsa like Ocho Cinco's do, by all means. I mean, it's supposed to be a fun game. That's fun. So Brett's onto something. And when I saw this title, I said, yeah, I'm damn curious to hear what she has to say, because again, to me, there's avenues. There's women's and men's, and I know that's crazy in 2023 to think
All right.
men and women aren't exactly the same. Who'd have ever thought? I thought we were identical. There's certain places that you don't need to be.
Need each other.
Like Ben Shapiro said, the Boy Scouts are called the Boy Scouts for a reason.
Right.
Boys. And some of these things like football, if you want to make a women's football league, by all means.
There is.
But I just believe that she's on to the point that that's part of the reason why the pussification of the NFL has continued.
That's a good one.
But get in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on the current state of the NFL and how soft it has become. I didn't get into CTE and all of that, the whole of the conversation, so I do understand there have to be rules that apply to certain things. But overall, it's really bad. So just give us your thoughts. Get in our Discord.
Get in our Discord.
Get in our comments. Bro.